Alright guys, my name's Sam Wiki. Today we're going to be tying the variation of a Gary LaFontaine pattern that he called the Buzz Ball. Many of you guys are probably familiar with it. We're going to do a little variant of that called the Cuzz Ball. So what this is a cripple wing version with a few other little small nuances to Gary LaFontaine's original pattern. And it's an awesome pattern for many types of rivers. We fish it on the Missouri, which is, known as a technical river. But the awesome thing about this pattern, it can represent a PMD, an ant, lots of dead stuff, caddis. We fish it a lot of times in late July and August when there's a lot of dead stuff and not one specific hatch going on. It's a great attractor pattern. It only needs 3 materials to tie the Cuzz Ball. We have elk hair, and then we have 2 colors of saddle hackle, regular grizzly, and dark barred ginger. So the first thing we're going to do is just tie on this cripple wing. I stacked about 10 to 12 fibers of elk hair, pretty sparse little front cripple wing, but it helps to see the fly. Also helps with the goal of the fly, which is just to imitate dead stuff. So we want to make this cripple wing about the length of the shank. We don't want it too long, so tie that in pretty much right at the front. A couple wraps. You can pull that back, tie it in right behind the eye, and cut off our tag ends. Okay, then just tie our tag ends in nice and neat. That way when we wrap the hackle up to the front, it's a clean spot to tie that off at. Wrap the thread to the back. Again, I'm using copper 12/0 nano silk. I've been pretty much switched everything to nano silk for my tying just because you don't build up any bulk on. I tie a lot of small dry flies and nymphs, and the thread just never breaks. It's awesome if you haven't tried it. So we're gonna tie in the first hackle out the back. Just show you guys this. This is about 2.5 times gap length, the back hackle, and this is the one that's going to create the spent wing on the Buzz Ball. Just tie that in the back. If you guys have followed Gary LaFontaine at all or read any of his old books, a lot of his patterns are messy, and it doesn't have to look perfect, so just keep that in mind as you're tying these. This is a true fisherman's fly. You can tie quite a few of them. You can get down to a couple minutes a fly once you get going, and you have your materials laid out. So for this first hackle, this is the dark barred ginger. It doesn't really matter what length hackle it is, you're cutting it all down anyways, but we're gonna palmer this all the way up the front as tightly as we can. We want this fly to float really good and have this nice dry fly hackle to keep it floating. But we're going to cut it all down, so no matter what size you have, it doesn't really matter. So we'll get that wrapped up to the front. And we're going to tie it off right behind the cripple wing. Just do 2 wraps behind it. You can tie it off right in front. Okay, so one difference with this, as we're calling it the Cuzz Ball versus the original Buzz Ball, we do tend to cut this down a lot further than a lot of the Buzz Balls, or at least how I see them tied commercially now. So even below the gap length, the gap width, I should say. So you can tie this pretty skinny. I like the skinny body. I think it represents, if you are throwing it into a PMD hatch or a caddis hatch, keeping the body thin, I think just makes the most sense. So if a few hackles are sticking out, that's kind of you actually kind of want that there's a few random hackles sticking here and there. So if you don't trim it perfectly, totally cool. Then we're gonna wrap about 3.5 to 4.5 times up the Just try to weave it into the ginger as well as you can. I normally tie, this is on a 14 just so we can see it better in the video here, but I generally tie this in a 16. So, and then we're just going to tie that off right behind the eye, right in front of the eye actually. 2 wraps, pull it back, and tie it off. And at this point, we can really whip finish this before we do anything else. Okay, the final step to this fly is just to cut down the top and bottom wing. So it looks kind of like chaos right now, and it turns out nice and neat, as nice as this fly is supposed to be, by trimming out the bottom right down to the width of the gap of the hook, and then also on the top. And what that does is, from a top view or a bottom view, it gives a very spent, dead look to the fly. So that's the final step. And again, we are calling this fly the Cuzz Ball, which is simply just a riff off of a very famous pattern from Gary LaFontaine called the Buzz Ball. Thanks for watching. We have all the supplies for this fly at houseoffly.us.